I didn't know I could go live already on YouTube, so I thought I would give it a try because we're going through something right now that I thought might be helpful to other investors. It's actually the process of buying a turnkey. So we're going through that process right now, and I made some notes. So I'll be going back and forth to my notes about the process so far. So we've worked with a turnkey provider in the past. We have purchased one with this turnkey provider in Illinois. This property is in St. Louis, and it is a 3 bedroom, 1 bath home, and the purchase price is $80,000. If you've seen the video on my channel where we analyzed the property, there were a couple things that I do different than what the turnkey provider sends out in their pro forma. Their pro formas look really good. They leave a couple things out that I don't think you should. For example, since it's a turnkey, they don't put in numbers for maintenance and capex. And when I run our numbers, I definitely add those in because it makes a difference of about $100 in the numbers. So far in the process, what has happened is we picked a turnkey property from their inventory list. I ran my analysis versus their pro forma just to see if it would cash flow the way we like our deals to cash flow. My wife and I usually like to get at least $200 a month positive cash flow per deal, and in this case we're going to get about 223, and that gives us 10% cash on cash return. So we decided to move forward. Once you do that, the turnkey provider will send you a contract to sign, and then once you're under contract, they will send information to you with instructions on how to send in your earnest money deposit. In this case, it's $1,000. One thing I recommend, and they also recommend, is that you contact the title company where the deposit's going to go to and verify all the numbers, the account numbers, the address, make sure it's a real title company before you wire your money. Once you do that, you can send the deposit in. And the earnest money deposit is basically, it's a promise that you're making that you're going to do everything you can to help the deal move forward as easily as possible. There are ways to lose your earnest money deposit. For example, if you don't meet the deadline requirements for any contingencies that you specify in the contract, typically you have 10 to 14 days to satisfy those. Like if you want to get an appraisal, well, there will be an appraisal done since we're getting financing on the property, and property inspection contingencies. If there's something in the inspection that you don't like, you can also get out of the contract that way. So when we first started, of course, you got to make sure your credit's good, you're qualified with a lender, and you have your down payment money and reserves. When we had to qualify with a new lender for this property because the purchase price is lower than what we typically buy. The purchase price is $80. By the time we get a 25% down payment in there, the loan is going to be around $60,000. So we had to find a lender that went down that low. We found one and we qualified with him, so we're good to go there. The next step was to get an insurance quote, and for a couple of reasons. You're going to need an insurance policy in place so that you can close on the property, but also to verify the insurance numbers. Like I said earlier, the turnkey provider plugs in numbers in their pro forma. And for example, this one worked in our favor because the turnkey provider had an estimated amount per month of $125 for insurance. And after getting a quote, we found that it was only $91 per month. So a few more dollars going towards the positive cash flow number. That was a nice surprise. And so we've scheduled an inspection that's happening tomorrow morning at 9. And the cost for the inspection was $575. Then we're also doing a sewer scope, which I highly recommend on anything that you buy, even if in this case, the turnkey provider stated that they had already done one, but we're going to do it just for our peace of mind, and that adds $195 for the sewer scope. And in some of these properties that we're buying in the Midwest, there's also a basement, and in the basement there's a drain. One mistake I made on our last property was that I didn't realize there was a drain, and we didn't have that checked out. Once we bought the property, the tenant had said that the drain was not working properly, so we had to go in after the fact and have it snaked, and that was about a $500 expense. Once we get our inspection done, there will probably be some small items that come up. And on the last property we bought with this turnkey provider, he worked with us on those repairs because the property is supposed to be turnkey. So, and also sometimes you don't know, these little things come up after the tenant moves in. Usually, they're using bathtubs and stoves and all kinds of things. So if there's any issues, this turnkey provider provides a 90-day scope of work warranty to handle any little issues like that. And I expect the closing will be normal, 30 to 45 days. And there are no real estate agents involved because we're buying directly from the turnkey provider. From here on out, like I said, it should be pretty smooth. We'll be waiting to get that inspection, and then we'll go over it with the turnkey provider. And then we decided to move forward on the property because our cash-on-cash return on this one would be 10% once we deduct for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance and expenses. In this case, that's 15%. And with all of that deducted, giving us $223 positive cash flow per month, that's a 10% return. And I've spoken before about the fact that since we already have reserves for this property, we will typically add the expense money into our cash flow. And when we do that, it bumps it up to a 17% cash on cash return. So I think overall it's a pretty good deal for the stuff that we've been buying. It's a little bit better than a base hit, I would assume. And I think we'll probably do another video after we get our inspection and go over that list with you all and let you know how we're going to go about getting any issues resolved with the turnkey provider. So I think that's going to be it for right now. I appreciate you guys jumping in. BuzzTune, Michelle, Cody. We're looking forward to chatting with you on Wednesday, of course. And if you have any questions, we can go over those. But I'm hoping this video is one that we'll be able to post on the channel and save for the future. I haven't done a good job of documenting our purchases to this point. And I think going through the process on each property from here on out, at least I'll have a video that I can refer to in the future to remember, who our inspector was and how much the fees were for those things. So I think that's going to be it for right now. Can't think of anything else up to this point. I think I mentioned the numbers, you know, the $80,000 purchase price, the rent's going to be 1,100 a month. And I think that's going to be it for now. So thanks again. I appreciate you guys hopping on, and we'll look forward to doing it again in the near future now that I know I can. Take care.